Good evening, good afternoon, good morning, wherever you are, whenever you're listening or watching this. Hey, Susanna.
Hey Joe, happy Sunday to you.
Happy Sunday to you as well. We're back, Commercial Real Estate Investor Club. Whether you're watching this on YouTube, LinkedIn, wherever, we want to bring incredible information and the latest and greatest. So, Susanna, love to hear what's going on in the financial world of commercial real estate. What's the latest and greatest?
Well, the latest and greatest is pretty similar to what's happening in other financial markets, right? We're down 1,000 points, up 1,000 points. This, of course, has a immediate influence on all the other indices, and treasuries are all over the place, and some are acting inversely, some are acting lockstep. So there's a lot going on in the markets. So I would just say that right now it's very volatile, and we're kind of seeing a lot of the lenders being erring on the side of caution, being more conservative, maybe just because they don't know. I mean, people who need to lock their rate, it could have a significant difference whether you lock Tuesday or Wednesday, right? So, but more importantly, we're seeing appraisers really take note of the volatility and also the uncertainty on where the market is going, right? So where cap rates going as a result of volatile interest rates. So we do track of the percentage of appraisals that come in maybe below even the purchase price. So we're talking purchases and refinance. And that number is up from about 5% to almost 30%. 30% of the commercial loans that we're doing are coming in below value, and that includes purchases where, as you know, the purchase price is the strongest indicator of current value. So our loan officers are really having to work through that, and more importantly, our clients, right? So what do you do when an appraisal comes in below value? So there's always, the very difficult path of trying to get the value adjusted, which we now made this our endeavor, and trying to go down that road, and sometimes successful, but more often than not, that's a difficult thing to do. So that's unsettling especially for situations where it's a purchase. And for the refinances, that can also have an adverse value, because obviously loan to value is important when you're doing a commercial loan. But a lot of the commercial loans in some of the lower cap rate areas are more impacted by the debt service coverage ratio, meaning the underwritten cash flow of the property. So even though the values are coming in lower, I'm not seeing the loan amount is not necessarily adjusted based on the appraised value. It would only be adjusted based on the underwritten net operating income. So that's my struggles these past few weeks.
Got it. Well, thanks for the update, Susanna. Folks, if you didn't understand some of the lingo that Susanna mentioned, save the date. On June 20th, we are going deep into all the different concepts she shared regarding commercial real estate, financing, deal structuring, etc. So go ahead and save June 20th all day from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. You could see below where to register for that valuable information and training. Susanna, so some of the folks in the audience are residential realtors, residential investors, challenging the appraisal. Could you go into that a little bit? So, like, let's just use some rough numbers. Property sold for or traded at 30 million. The appraisal came in at 25 million. What do we do? I mean, what do we have to do to make this deal work? Aside from like trying to reduce the price.
Yeah, so let me see if I can think of an example. So I'm working on a loan currently. It's not a purchase, it's a refinance. But the appraisal was expected to come in at around 28 million for a multifamily property, and it came in at 23. But because the cap rates are so low and interest rates are so volatile, right? So it's just a very uncertain environment in which we operate. But the loan amount is in a secondary place determined by the loan to value, but in the first kind of indicator, the first most restricting factor, typically in high cap rate areas, is going to be your cash flow. So the underwritten net operating income, right, needs to be at 1.2, 1.25, or in some cases 1.3 times whatever your payment is going to be, your new debt service. And so in this case, the borrower was very unhappy that the value came in lower, but it really didn't change their loan amount much, if at all, because then the net operating income, whatever was underwritten, still needs to have that debt service coverage ratio, and the loan amount was roughly 16 million. But it does signal, borrowers also have to fill out their personal financial statements and make a statement of their net worth. And they're absolutely convinced that they could sell the property on the open market today for 28 million. So the appraisal coming in at 23, I mean, you, number one, need to be accurate on your statement of net worth. Number two, it kind of messes with your head because you thought you were here, right? And then potentially, are you really here? Or is it just a matter of, how much does the appraisal really mean? But as far as handling that with the lender, and then as far as the loan process is concerned, challenging an appraisal is always difficult. Appraisers do not like to be questioned. A lot of them are, highly trained. They know how to obtain their supporting data. And so you have to have something really compelling. You have to look at their draft and see, is there anything that stands out where you can potentially challenge a particular assumption? It's unlikely that they have missed a comp. It's possible, but try to identify the biggest factor, why that value is coming in lower than you thought. And then as the research is as thoroughly as you can, and provide that supporting documentation. In this case, for example, Joe, I can tell you that I think a lot of it had to do with the property condition. And so since we are still in the process of underwriting the loan, the borrower was given the opportunity to improve the property. That's mostly cosmetic. It wasn't, anything really functional that needed to be improved. And then we took that along with what we thought was kind of the disconnect between what we thought the value was going to come in to where it came in. And we took that back to the appraiser. And I'll let you know how it turns out.
Good. We should probably talk about that next week.
That's right.
All right. So that's the latest and greatest, guys, in the financial world of commercial real estate. We're going to bring incredible value, as always, every time we're on here. What I also wanted to share today is a little bit about what's going on that I saw on the Wall Street Journal recently. So I saw on the Wall Street Journal, in Chicago, workers in downtown Chicago say foot traffic, especially on a Friday morning, is noticeably lighter than before the pandemic. This was posted today at earlier this morning on the wallstreetjournal.com. One of the biggest office towers in Chicago's River North District occupies some 1.7 million square feet these days. Too much of that space is empty, and the whole neighborhood is paying the price.
Joe, can you bring that up on the screen?
Yeah, I sure can. So let me just kind of post it real quick, and you guys could see, and you could look it up right on wallstreetjournal.com. So right there it is.
Great.
Big and bold, the Wall Street Journal. So this is exactly what I read, ladies and gentlemen. And right down here, workers in downtown Chicago say foot traffic, especially on a Friday morning, is noticeably lighter than before the pandemic. All right. What is a zombie property? Well, let's take a look at that one. So let me jump here and show you what you guys could know about a zombie property. Because what I always say, where there's adversity, there's opportunity. And so zombie property, what is a zombie property? In real estate, it refers to a residential property that has been abandoned by the owner after receiving a foreclosure notice. Okay, so what's going on in commercial world as well is we're starting to see a lot of properties just vacated, and then they're not making the payments, and in some cases they're giving the keys back. So again, where there's adversity, there's opportunities. We could turn these lemons into lemonades, and that's exactly part of why we have the Commercial Real Estate Investor Club going on. All right, so let me show you something else that I've been noticing too, Susanna. This was a really interesting post, folks, that I wanted to share and kind of circle back what I mentioned earlier if you were on the earlier part of this presentation. So about 42% of Americans will retire broke. Okay. In a recent survey, we saw this, that retirement savings are no longer existent for a lot of folks. You're hearing it all over the news about Trump's tariffs will be bad for you and you and you and you. This one is a big one that we've talked about a lot, Susanna, is 20% of commercial and multifamily mortgage balances mature this year in 2025.
Correct.
So what am I trying to drive at? If you guys been around a while, there's a movie called The Big Short. If you haven't seen it yet, definitely watch it. It's worth the watch. Some of you folks that are probably newer in the real estate world, or maybe even younger, maybe born in the early 2000s, probably don't even remember this, but it's called the movie The Big Short. And that's kind of what's going on in some parts of the country and also in commercial real estate. 90% of millionaires and billionaires attribute their success to real estate. And we actually hosted a live event in Covina not too long ago with our partner as well, Jesse Hernandez. And Jesse Hernandez is the one on the top left, Susanna's in the middle, and that's myself in the right. But on June 20th, ladies and gentlemen, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m., as I mentioned earlier, what you will learn A through Z, nuts and bolts of commercial real estate, financing commercial real estate deals, finding hidden deals like zombie properties, whether you should get into commercial real estate or real estate as a licensed individual or investor. And I'll put the next slide on the screen where you could register. So you could either register on commercialrealestateinvestorclub.com or scan that code if you're watching on YouTube or perhaps LinkedIn, and only 27 whopping dollars, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to bring you incredible information. You're probably watching this small clip, but we're only 20 minutes in, maybe 30 minutes in. We are going from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Check out our YouTube channel. You'll see us preview what we did live in person, but only $27, guys. Alone, you will go fast. Together, we can go far in commercial real estate. I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing and bring us back to Susanna. So, yeah, how was that, Susanna?
I love it. No, you're always staying on top of all the publications and on top of the market. And I know that you enjoy so much bringing the commercial real estate to people who may not fully understand it or may not have been exposed to it. So I'm happy to be a part of that. And I think we can bring a lot of clarity to maybe some of the lingo that you may be hearing out there that you don't understand. It's really not rocket science. And with just a few adjustments, you'll be a lot more well-versed in commercial real estate and be able to read these articles or make your own decisions about where the opportunities may be. So definitely sign up.
No doubt, no doubt. And ladies and gentlemen, again, if you want to see a sneak preview and some of the feedback that people learned from our last event where Susanna, myself, and Jesse were on there, visit our YouTube channel, Commercial Real Estate Investor Club. And there is a 2.5-minute clip about our live event. We're going to be bringing it live again online this time, but this time we want to go nationwide. So it was a local event. So the attendance we want to put it out there nationwide.
Joe, I'm looking forward to it.
Me too, Susanna. Anything else that you wanted to add to our amazing audience?
We will bring lots of examples, real life stories of past successes and how people got to where they want to go from where they started, from all different starting points. And we are there to guide you and teach you.
Sounds good. Well, Susanna, thanks for again for being on the show and bringing the incredible value about the market updates. And guys, stay tuned. We will bring more for you guys. Take care. Have a great day, guys. See you soon.
Thank you.
Thank you, Susanna.